Hello everyone and welcome to ZP Productions. Today we'll take a look at this. This is the Nanchaku from Ibasso. Now this is a portable, dongle, but uses tubes. In fact, it is the Raytheon Gen 6418 tubes and uses dual Cirrus logic DAC. And it outputs a massive 525 milliwatts of power per channel, which is more than enough to run many modern IEMs and even headphones. The question is it good, right? So obviously what you see here is actually a set that I purchased. Actually, in fact, I purchased it a few weeks back, but I have yet to use it. I just took it out and put it in this box here. But, let's see what's inside the box. The box really has nothing much. I mean, it was originally like this. I put it out, and then there's also one cable here. The cable they gave is a pretty nice USB-C to USB-C cable, but I will just leave it in the box. And then they give an adapter here for C to A. Well, I think that is pretty much it for the unboxing. And then let's put it aside and then you take a look at this dongle here. Now the dongle itself, let's show you the dongle. I remove it from the case. It's red in color and you can see the tubes behind. These are the small little tubes. Later when I plug it in, you will see a little bit more. It does have both balanced and unbalanced outputs, and it has a dedicated volume knob, just like its Elite version. And then you have this nice yellow case that you can use it and just plug it in. So overall, I think it's a very slick package. Now, you just have to use the USB-C. I can tell you that it doesn't work with iPhone. At least iPhone cannot power this dongle. When I plug it in, nothing happens. So I will have to plug it into a proper DAP or a computer to utilize this thing. So without wasting time, this is my actually M8T, and in fact, that's what I'm going to compare with today. The M8T is also a tube-based DAP. So this is a tube-based DAP. It costs a lot. I guess like 4 or 5 times more. This is like $350 today if you get it at Zeppelin. And this is, I got it at 1,008. It's pretty expensive. But this is a full DAP and this is of course a dongle. Both of them uses tubes. So, let's try it out and see whether the difference is huge or not. But before we try out the comparison, let's generally hear the sound. Now, I have heard this before, but I didn't really hear it extensively. I mean, I tried it in the shop. It was fun. So I just purchased it. Definitely something that I enjoy. But, how do I feel today, right? And now with headphones, because at the shop, I just tried IEMs. So first I tried with IEMs, and the IEMs I use will be this. These are the Maestro SE with some golden cables. I will put inside my tips later. And then the headphones wise, I'll be using the Ibasso Joal. So let's see how it sounds like as the dongle itself, and then versus my DAP, which is the M8T. So I tried my Ibasso Nanchaku with my Maestro SE and of course with my Ibasso Joal. And I think that it's okay. It sounds like there's a little bit more mid energy and of course that warm tube sound. Plus also I feel that compared to what I usually hear out of a pure Cirrus logic type of dongle, I guess there is this slight loss of clarity or details in exchange for that smooth tube sound. But this is just my impression of it alone, powered with my DAP. The real thing is really to compare it with my DAP to see really does it sound good or not. The implementation, is it good? Based on what I've tried, at least I think it's a very capable dongle, more than enough to run Ibasso Joal. It's a very hard headphone to run, but it's a planar, and I was at volume 90, more than enough. And when I'm using the Maestro SE, I believe I was at volume 70. Now, before we go in depth into the comparison, let's take a look at this menu. This menu is pretty interesting. I can't really bring this up any further, and I think it's a bit dim, but you can actually press and hold. In case you can't see it, you can just press and hold, and then you can rotate it to change some of the effects. In fact, you can also set this in tube mode or in direct AB amplification mode, in addition to a few filters that you have. Currently, this is on NOS. So I pretty much think that as a dongle, it has some functions that you can even get in like DAPs in terms of settings. But the question is, how does it sound compared to a DAP that does exactly the same thing? Is it a better thing? Of course, this DAP uses, I believe, a better chip, an AKM chip, but does it really matter? Does it sound better, right? So without wasting time, I will do a comparison and I'll get back to you guys in terms of how I feel between the Ibasso Nanchaku versus the M8T. Okay, so I have tried it with headphones and compared it between the Nanchaku and the M8T. Both of them are tube-based devices, just that the difference is one's Cirrus Logic, the other one is AKM, and of course implementation-wise in terms of power and everything. I just personally feel that in this comparison, the Nanchaku feels very, in another word, very tubey. I have tube amps like the Macintosh in front of me. Somewhere in front there's a Macintosh amp. I also have some other tube amps. I also heard before Wu amps, and I would say as the impression that the Ibasso gives me in comparison to the M8T is that it is a little bit more tubey, which means there's a lot more mid energy, a little bit of that smoothness there in everything. So the whole feel of the track, be it in Ado's Verarium, I think it's called Verarium, and then also in my friend's Ari Anjo's Comet rendition, I feel that there is a stronger focus on the vocals, a stronger focus on the mid instruments, a warmer tone, a rounder tone also. Means there is a bit smoother, I guess, throughout the entire spectrum. And also, there is this slight loss of detail in exchange for that really warm, smooth sound. Even in the trial mode on the M8T, it doesn't feel as tubey, It feels still like a very smooth amp. How should I say? It still feels like a very smooth sound that you get between a solid state with a tube input somewhere, rather than a pure tube kind of device, which is this very warm and a little bit, I'll say fuzzy sound. At least for headphones, the distinct difference can be heard. And I don't know, depends on personal preference. If you still want that air, that I would say is clarity, but a little bit of the warmth, a little bit on the mid smoothness, a little bit on the overall, I would say as a little bit more body in the mids, I think the M8T is a better choice. The Ibasso is just a little bit too tubey for me. I also tried playing around with the filters just now, be it fast, slow, NOS. It still feels very, very tubey. Very warm, very thick in the center kind of sound on the Joal. So I'm not sure whether it's the amplification problem or is it just the nature of the device. The only way to know it is now compare the IEM, which needs less power, but if it comes up with the same effect, then I think that this is really for people who like that very tubey sound, which can be a good thing, right? So my impression with IEMs, the differences are a lot smaller. The difference is mainly that the M8T does have a slightly bigger soundstage, but beyond that, it sounds tonally very similar. And also, in terms of its general feel of the song, the general tone of the mids feels very similar. The smoothness is about there. Maybe just a touch more, I guess, mid focus on the Ibasso, a touch more, but it is very, very similar between M8T and the Ibasso. Now, so we have reached a point where the difference mainly is in headphones. And headphones difference is that it requires a lot more power, a lot more control for the single driver. So I'm not very sure, is it a case where the Ibasso has issues because of the power into the M8T, or is it a case where maybe it's just a case of the amplification just isn't that great to drive the Abyss and result in that very warm tubey sound. So I need to try this out. Let me go out, test on my external laptop, and get back to you guys in a moment. My laptop had issues because of my iTunes account, but I got my, trusty M17 Pro from Phil, and that guy has tons of power. So when I tried it with this device, it improved the situation. It feels like the headphones now are very close, both on the Ibasso versus the M8T. While the M8T still has a little bit advantage in terms of the mid's clarity and the extension of the air, the Ibasso now feels clear, just a little bit more mid energy. There is some parts that in the later part of the singing by Ari, I do feel that the clarity of her voice is just slightly better on the M8T. The warmness in this regard, while plugging into the Phil M17 Pro, feels very similar. Maybe the Ibasso is just a touch warmer only, but the overall sound signature is quite the same. Yeah, the differences are small, but it's there. The M8T still just feels a little bit superior in terms of the overall rendition and control compared to the Ibasso when driving Abyss Joal. Now, this may be a case of the Abyss is, of course, it's a headphone. It requires a little bit more power. It's a planar. And also, a lot of devices, as they power more and more power-hungry devices, they tend to have a little bit more distortion. And this distortion usually results in some sort of difference in sound. I'm guessing this is the case. I guess that as the power requirement rise, this device tends to deviate more towards a sound with a little bit less clarity, a little bit more mid energy, a little bit loss in the air, and therefore a little bit loss also in sound stage. That's how I feel. So what it does mean that the Ibasso, at least based on my test, if you're using an IEM, it's great. The Maestro SE is one of the harder to drive IEMs, personally, when I tried it. It drives perfectly fine on the Ibasso. The difference between the Ibasso and the M8T, as I said, a little bit more warm, a little smaller soundstage, a little bit more mid in the mids. That's really the difference, and that may be a preference thing, while there's not much compromise in terms of clarity of sound. While, if you compare using the headphones, depending on what device you plug in, on the M8T, it sounds pretty mushy just now. Very warm, very tubey, as I said. Quite a bit of loss of detail, like really a very tube amp. And I don't think that that will be enjoyable for everyone, right? Well, on the M17 Pro, which I guess has a lot more power to drive this device, then there is difference. The Ibasso just felt a little bit more normal. Compared to the M8T, it still loses a little bit of clarity. It still loses a little bit of, I'll say, a soundstage, air, treble energy. It does have that mids, a little bit more tubey sound, a little more mids, a little more smoothness. But it just doesn't feel as good in terms of almost anything else compared to the M8T. I think the M8T has a great balance between a tube sound and a clear sound, while this guy is still a little bit more tubey. And I'm not sure whether is it a power problem, a distortion problem, or is it a case where it's just the design of it to have this more tubey sound at the expense of details, clarity, and soundstage. So yeah, this is my take on the Ibasso Nanchaku. Do I recommend it? Now, if you are using IEMs, I highly recommend it for you, because when I try IEMs, I think it sounds perfectly fine. It sounds like a dongle with a tube, and that is good because 350 Sing dollars is an affordable way to give a little bit of tube taste to your IEMs, right? But if you are driving headphones with it, I think you have to try it out. At least with my Abyss Joe, I don't really think that it's a good match. The loss is a bit too much. I mean, I just feel that it's just not as great as what I think it should be. I don't think this is meant to be very tubey sound, and I think that sound may be a case of amplification, distortion, or stuff, and that's why there's some loss in quality there. And this may be due to the power, this may be due to its internal mechanisms. I'm not too sure. I don't have my laptop working. So if I do have my laptop working one day, maybe the laptop has even more power to make this even closer. But I believe the M17 Pro is a very competent device when it comes to outputting USB-C power. So I don't think there should be an issue, and I don't listen very loud. So the Joal doesn't draw that much power, but maybe the tubes and stuff draw a lot of power. I'm not too sure. But at least I don't think I can recommend this as a portable device. You know, after going one round, you require something like M17 Pro to power it. It's already a problem of its own, really. I mean, how many of you guys have an M17 Pro next to you? I believe most of you guys will probably think of getting this to use with a handphone. And if you're going to use it with a handphone, you're not going to be better than the M8T here in terms of power output through the USB-C. So I'm sure that this is a bad idea. So yeah. I don't recommend this for headphones. I recommend this for IEMs. For headphones, well, if you want tube sound, get an M8T or get some sort of a tube deck or tube DAP that is full-fledged. This guy is just not enough. That's about it for today. I hope you enjoy my first look at the Nanchaku from Ibasso. I think it's an interesting device, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.